Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Despite the Fact podcast. And today we do have Easy with us today. And then I do have my co-host Francis. And today we're going to be diving into talking about community building in the African communities. Is it very important that as we come and travel into different countries, either Canada, US, wherever, should we be part of a community? And what's the impact? What's the advantage? What's the disadvantage? We're just going to pretty much dive into it and pretty much talk about what has been happening around here.
Yeah. So how's your day?
The day was great. Saturdays are meant for relaxing, catching up with everything, and just hit those errands. And how was your weekend?
Mine was okay.
Start of your weekend.
I think mine was okay. It's nice outside. So I mean, the weather is not bad for February. For Calgary,
considering it could be minus 40.
Considering it could be minus 45, you wake up one morning and it's minus 45. So we had that in December. I think we had that in December. Yeah. That 1 week.
It was brutal.
Yeah, minus 45. So, I'm not gonna survive here. So.
Well, you will.
I bet you guys next year you won't find me here. I'm going back to Vancouver.
You're going back to BC?
Yeah, City of Dreams. So you know what? Talking about community building, I think it's very important. Coming from Vancouver, that I've lived there, it's kind of like because I like the city, but because there is not a lot of Black people that
like your own kind,
my own kind, and sometimes I felt lonely, and also like when as an immigrant you move to Canada, and sometimes you need to get some tips, from your own people. I think it's also good to meet your own people and how they survive in this environment. Yeah, because this is the system. I mean, it's as a Black man living with white folks, you need some tips. So I think it's a very good thing whenever you travel to get to know your own people.
Absolutely. I think the best part about just living in Calgary, I guess, versus Vancouver, you must see, is the ability to network. In other words, if you're looking for a doctor who might be more understanding of like just your background, your history, etc., they can relate to you. You are their kind. There's a little bit more empathy, I believe. There's more recognition of one's struggles when you work with people who have all come like you at diaspora, and we're all working together as a community to build and to uplift each other. So I do like Calgary for that you can connect with one and they will refer you to another. You're looking for a plumber, they'll say, I know a Black-owned plumber.
Oh, I know.
He can help you put your own money into your own people to help uplift them, So in a way, we are being cohesive, and in that we are helping uplift each other by putting our money and our resources within our own pockets.
Our own people. Yeah.
Our own people.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what's your experience living here?
No, I think it's very good. I mean, to me, I actually do believe that as people move into this country, I think the first thing they should do is look for communities where they can belong to. And in terms of like, we have a lot of communities here. Like they have the Congolese community, the Ghanaian community, the Nigerian community, like a whole lot. Right?
East African, the Kenyan community is very big here in Calgary.
In Calgary?
And in Edmonton.
It is
the Kenyans, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there is community. So I think that is very important that people actually, take advantage of that, because guess what? They'll be able to show you ways around the city, ways around the country, even how to maneuver your way around in terms of jobs. These are people that speak maybe the same language like you. It just makes more sense. Like, seeing people that come from the same place with you, eat the same food, have the same culture, same identity. And it just, you feel more at home. Like when you move to a place where you don't know anybody. Right. So, and like you were saying before, like, if you, like I have a friend who does, plumbing and all those things. And most of the time when people ask me, hey, I'm like, oh, I know a friend that does this too, right? It's just pumping into our own community as well, instead of us sending the money else somewhere, but we can actually, invest in our own people.
100%.
So I think it's very, very, it's very, very, as much as sometimes we will say, oh, my people talk too much and I don't want to be part of it.
Yeah, I want to come there. We'll come there.
There's up and down to every visit.
So, as you're saying, some people, I mean, is it always that when you come like that, do people welcome you? Is there the community? Are they very welcoming?
In most cases, I think they've been very welcoming to newcomers coming into the country. Right. And then also it's so funny. I know, like, even in Calgary, even if you go to the newcomers center, they're able to tell you, okay, we do have a Ghanaian community here. We do have this community here. They're able to, even if you don't know, they are actually able to tell you, like, oh, there's this community, or there's this Somalian community here, or there's, so they are able to give you like a lot of resources and information and the things that you need to actually get started with. So to me, I think, you're not losing anything.
By connecting
with your own community, you're not losing anything, right? So
easy. So how about you? Like your community?
I believe that just linking up with one's community, and I'm not biased to going out and hanging out with a Nigerian community or going and attending a huge Cameroonian like get together, etc. I love it because I am myself both East and West African, so it's the best of two worlds for me.
Oh wow.
And so I enjoy just the fact that you can sit down with folks and they can relate to you. The minute you start to say which location you were born in or you grew up in back home, then suddenly eyes light up and it becomes, well, I actually know this area. Remember that market? Remember that school? Remember that mall? And you're like, man, are you serious? You went back. It's just memories. We're just going back in memory, like looking and talking back about things which we share in common.
Yeah.
Second, we always are homesick for cuisine and food from back home.
Exactly.
So it's lovely when you go to a community event and suddenly all your favorite food is laid out, sprawled out.
That's the best part,
cooked the stuff you love,
Yeah.
So for me personally, it's like that stuff, then the language. I'm sure your heart just beams with joy the minute you hear your language. Because yes, absolutely, we're all Anglo. All of us are Anglo. We all are familiar with the language. We're fine speaking it, but it's always nice to just hear somebody who speaks your mother tongue. And it just makes you break down those boundaries and loosen up for a minute, and enjoy each other's just company, sharing memories, language, food, cuisine, and then you go back to the regular life. You go back to work, and you're back to we're all here as Anglos. Regardless of our cultures, we're all speaking what's the language here? English. And so it's beautiful. And I'm from Montreal. So again, go back to speaking French back home in Montreal, and I worked and lived there as well. So it's nice to take a break from the regular routine.
So that's where I wanted to go and ask you that you don't have to limit yourself. And you have
best
to also
of all the worlds. It's pretty much you can enjoy living in Canada.
Yeah, so you have to explore to different.
It's a diversity place, so
and I embrace that. I could not live in a country that lacks diversity. That's what thrives, and that's what I like, and that's what I seek in particular when I visit places and choose to live somewhere. I'm always like, is there a big ethnic community? And when I say ethnic, I'm not just saying my own. I'm just saying diversity. Are we a good slice of what is representative of Canada in that city? In that city. I want to go to a city which is representative of Canada and the general population. So must be everybody
in
is
Canada
represented in that city to a certain extent.
To an extent. Okay. So a city like, I know that we know the big cities like, Toronto, and then Montreal, Vancouver, and Calgary.
It's growing.
It's also
I think diversity is growing. It's not quite at Toronto and Montreal's level, but it's getting there. It's creeping on slowly.
Yeah, slowly. It is because I moved to Calgary 2005, and I could say from that time to now, it's improved a lot.
I moved end of 2015, and from 2015 to now, the diversity I see changes.
It's way much better.
So, talking about all these that we personally, like individually, we want to get into the community. Are there community leaders? Are they doing enough to get new members to their community? And
for me, I just feel like it's so far as you reach out to them, they're not going to turn you down.
Okay.
You're new in the country, someone told you, hey, there's this community that I know here. I think you should call. They'll be able to help you around, get set up and all that kind of stuff. And it would turn you around. No.
Closed mouths don't get fed. So in other words, if you would like to get the community leaders to know about you, you must seek them out and state your needs. And they will happily search within their networks, within their local community, who can help you. You're looking for housing? Sure. We will help for you. We'll help you in that regard. We can look for somebody. Typically, they'll say we'll look for someone even within your community who has a basement suite. I have a person, I know a lady or a person who knows so and so. They have a huge house and they're looking actually to maybe put out their basement for rent. You actually are coming at the ideal time. Let me check out and see if they found a tenant yet. So in other words, it's connections and connecting you with the people. So they're there. It's a matter of meeting the people and knowing that they have your need is met by you expressing that.
Until you reach out to them, they're never gonna know. But you have to reach out to them. And and I also I know a lot of communities, they even have like where once you come into the country, you can actually register to be part of the community, so they know you're part of the community, right?
So everything that you're saying, I just want to clarify. So anybody that's watching and moving to Calgary or all these communities and the leaders, they have it in ink. So is it practical? Are they practicing it?
They are, and the thing too is that even if you go to their website, like if you go to, let's say, Nigerian community, if you go to their website, there's contact numbers, there's emails, who to contact and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think you will contact any of them and they'll be like, oh, this is so it's there, the information is there. I think people just need to, most of the time I feel like if you don't have the information, that's when you really don't know where to start from, right? But once you're given the information is vital. So once you have the information, but it's so funny, it's, I think during the summertime, there was a friend of mine, let me share this story. There's a friend of mine that brought this family to me. It was a husband and a wife. They were just walking down my street. I think they were new to the place. They were in a hotel and they were looking for a place. And my friend is like, hey, I know you've lived in this community for a while and, they're looking for a place. And I'm like, oh, so I was very welcoming to them. I'm like, come in. I gave them some water. I talked to them, whatever. The next day I went out to go look at some rental properties and other things to them. But guess what? As soon as I started, there's a Cameroonian community here. Do you want me to call someone? They were like, no. I was shocked. They didn't want to, and I'm like, and language is also a barrier. They only spoke French.
Yeah.
Hence why it's better if they connect with
their own people.
But then you also have to understand a lot of people come here based on all circumstances. And sometimes they wish to ground themselves first and then reach out. Or they choose to want to live a life low key. And there is no need for them to actually be linked. So everyone you have to is respect. Respect their boundaries. Some people don't want to link up with the community.
So I was just like, oh, okay. They didn't want to, but in my head, I was just like, you know what? If you get to meet your own people, you're going to feel like you belong somewhere. They're going to speak your language. You're not going to feel like, okay, you need to constantly repeat yourself because you're speaking and someone doesn't understand you. These are people from your own place. Someone might even be renting their basement, like you were saying. Someone might be, might know someone that's looking for someone to hire for a job that they can connect you. So with me, I think that's all I was thinking, but apparently they had their own
reservations.
Reservations which they didn't share. Yeah. So
they have their experiences. Maybe
they've had.
Wherever they're coming from, maybe they have their own experience.
Some people have actually been in a previous city and had a negative experience. You might have stopped over and lived for a couple of years in Europe. And that experience might have scarred you or whatever. And so you're just like, I'm a little hesitant about linking up. Maybe we'll link up when we feel comfortable, etc. So
and that's fine, Yeah. And that's totally fine. I think people make their decisions sometimes based on the experience that they've had in the past.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's necessary that you respect that. But I helped that as much as I could. But
Yeah, and even for me, when I moved here, the first thing I was like, okay, let me go to church.
That's another place to meet people.
I wasn't going to the church because just also I know that church that I'm going to meet the community there. Because I'm religious, but also the community building. That's why I went there.
Okay.
And I think a lot of church is also a good place
to start from.
Yeah, to start from our mosque.
Wherever you worship.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's also good because once you get there, there always, even if there's nobody from your place, there will be someone to say, hey, I know this person that is from here. That, there will always be someone that will, hey, I know someone that maybe is from Congo or is from
they see you as Liberia, a brother or sister. Simple, because of the fact that we are familiar with each other. I see you, I see that, oh my gosh, we come from the same place, and therefore whether you come from this country or that country, at my home, I'll welcome you to it. We're having a little get together, you're absolutely welcome. I have people at my church, elderly ladies, sometimes will say, my daughter, for example, couldn't pick me up after church, and they'll just literally approach me and be like, could you give me a ride home?
Yeah.
And I'm like, would it be my honor? Because this is someone who looks like my mother, who is like a little bit like stranded after church, and her daughter is preoccupied at work and cannot come get her. So suddenly she trusted me simply because I looked like, I would say, her child.
Yeah.
And she's like, could you take me home? She didn't approach anybody else. She made a beeline straight to me and asked me to help her drop her off.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, when I went to the church, I met a guy. Through the guy, he connected me to a soccer team. Ghanaian place. Okay. Yeah. Through the soccer team, I met a guy. Through a guy, I met you. So,
it's just like a whole bunch of connection going on and on and on. Everyone is connected to someone.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty of networking.
That's the beauty of networking. You're right. So we can never stop networking and keep connecting. It's massive because sometimes you don't even, sometimes just even little questions like, hey, there's this thing that I'm looking for. Do you know anyone
100%.
That has an experience with this before? Or, hey, I'm applying for this job here. Do you have anyone that has had to go through the same process?
Just straight through the Black community alone, I have been given a lot of resources, from doctors to mechanics to plumbers,
tabletop. I know you're a tabletop.
To table countertop. Replace your countertop. Yes.
Yeah, the guy. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely. Two other people I know who got their houses through a Black community and got a realtor. Black.
Yes.
And so that the realtor gets their cut, And at the end of the day, the realtor was looking out for them as if they were family.
Exactly.
So it's good
because it's a community thing, and because he knows it's he's not going to sell you something that is bad. Because you're eventually going to see him somehow.
Exactly.
So,
and you will refer him to
and you refer him to someone in the future. So
it's like Buy Black, that initiative that they have going on.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Bye.
I'm all for putting my money. Let me rephrase that.
Let's rephrase that.
The Black community. If it helps a fellow brother or sister, then
I'm all in.
I'm all in.
Yeah. You can go on that website. I think it's
but there is no bias. If it's
buyblack.com.
Buyblack.com.
And this is for across Canada.
Yeah. So it started in the US. It's a movement from Atlanta. So they moved to Canada to. So a lot of vendors sell stuff on it.
Interesting. And even now, even on YouTube and YouTube, Instagram, TikTok and everything, if you're Black and you subscribe and you follow me, I'm following you back. There's a movement going on there too. So it's like more like nowadays it's like Black women supporting Black women who own businesses.
100%, yeah.
So it Black women supporting Black women who own like small businesses and local businesses.
Listen, we're all rising together.
We're not leaving anybody behind. We're all moving together. And I'm very, very happy for this movement. I am.
Yeah,
because it's about time.
We've been divided by your Caribbean, your West African, your East African, you're this, and it's now more like, no, we're all Black.
Exactly.
And we're getting closer
and closer every single day.
And our differences are becoming more and more increasingly irrelevant. It's like you're Caribbean, so what? I have best friends who are Caribbean. there's no issues about it.
No, there's no issue.
Many people surprised to be like, "Oh, so your best friend's in Africa?" And I'm like, I ain't found any. My best friend's Caribbean.
Someone was venting. Someone was venting.
My best friend's Filipino. Like, hello,
there was
Filipina. Like,
I mean,
my best friend's in Africa.
It doesn't matter.
Caribbean.
So far as the vibe is there,
love, man.
That's what I'm saying. They show you love. The vibe is there. You connect with them. You have fun with them, and that's what.
Yeah.
So I meant to say this. There was this thing I saw on YouTube one time, and there was this black lady that she has like a hairline product, and she catered to black people of skin color, right? And there's this other woman who was very upset that why she catered to
only black,
only people of color. She was like, "Yo, you guys have been taking the market for a very long time. It's about time
that we did.
She was like, what are you upset about? I am catering for my people. It's about time we went on this. We went to the marketplace where we couldn't find product that will work for our hair texture, or we couldn't find product that will work for our skin. So if someone is catering for our skin type, why is it a problem now?
Hello, Riri catering to our skin type. So now we got more color. Hello, I can get my skin color in foundation. I could not get that 12, 14, 15, 20 years ago.
Exactly, and now Rihanna has
a black woman has the money and decided that she was going to create the range all the way down to Sudanese. Got covered.
The darkest.
That did not exist. The closest to that was MAC 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
MAC was the only foundation I could use. Now I can go to Sephora and it's limitless now. So many more companies have woken up.
And so many companies have woken up that, you know what, the market is real. It's there.
Oh,
the market is within.
Because they used to think that we ain't gonna buy. Why waste money, put that dark color, nobody gonna pick it up. That's the one that sells the fastest.
And the darkest colors is the ones you're using to contour and do all this.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, the girls now, they change. I don't even know the top, the products and all that.
So we just pretty much talking about, you know, the black movement, like this.
But it helps because when you guys send me to Sephora to buy you a gift, they will get something for me fast.
They will.
Before I have to go around.
Yeah.
My girl is black. Can I see another black lady? Maybe. She looks like you.
It's true. Before it was so hard to find a foundation that will even match yours.
Yes.
Like if you look at it like 20 years back.
The world has changed.
So it's all about the black community.
Nude is literally nude now. Yes. That's when nude was like beige.
Nude was like, and I think that was the closest to.
When you went shopping for nude, I'm telling you, no joke, it was beige. Now I go for nude, I'm literally like, I could find it in my color. That's mind blowing. Like, you do not.
And the fact that they even have like a color corrector where you can correct it to make it either darker to match it. It's just heaven. You know,
didn't exist 20 years ago.
It didn't. Yeah.
So it's all about.
We're celebrating those small victories.
So those,
and that's why I will forever support my own people. Like I even like in terms of like even buying to a point of like buying like wigs and stuff. Like every time someone will ask, oh, like where do you buy your hair and other things. I have a friend that owns a hairline company. I tell them right away. I give their website.
Very nice.
Yeah. So when I came to Calgary, I've seen that a lot of black people are entrepreneurs selling a lot of stuff online, and I'm very I like it. And
skincare
I think skincare and hair products, and it's very good
because for the longest
they had the monopoly. There was other races who had the monopoly over Dark and Lovely and all those things which we all blacks used. Now the skin lines and hair products which are owned by catering for our time. Owned by a person like yourself for people like yourself. That's just
and you know why
you're winning on every level.
The best thing
is they know about your hair, the 4C.
And they know exactly what to put in. They know the struggles of 4C
hair.
They know what it takes to blow dry a hair.
If I don't stop, then it's gonna go.
No, so it still goes back to we're gonna put our money into where we know that it's going to our people.
At the end of the day, it's all about the community.
It's all about you
guys come together, or we all come together, we can
build a strong
community. And also, I mean,
I'm sure you've seen that the rise of this even in home ownership by by people who are Black or African descent has increased in Canada in general.
Massive.
Why? Because again, if your people are uplifting each other, we can then be getting out of from lower socioeconomic status to middle class, to upper class, to the higher echelons.
Yeah,
hey,
exactly. Because guess what?
Yeah, even in I just want to put it even in times of sadness, like if a Black man or dies or something, and we don't even know. You don't have a family here. The Black community is gonna take care of it.
They always look for contributions.
Yeah, contributions.
If you can donate $100, $50 collectively, as they say.
I was very happy that you brought that up because I remember. Were you guys following the Shanquilla issue? That the girl that went to somewhere in Mexico, Cabo or whatever, and his friends actually took him there to go kill her. And it was all over on social media, right? All over on social media. Exactly, end of 2022, and it was all over on social media. And I realized that all the YouTubers who were Black were advocating for this girl.
Yeah.
All the YouTubers were advocating for this girl, like, it was all over on social media, and everywhere I went that I knew like a Black person, like a person of color that had like a YouTube channel, there was a discussion about it.
Yeah, that's good. So they were raising pretty much awareness.
They were raising awareness how
this will not be forgotten. This will not be cast aside.
And they need to bring those people to justice.
We need to get an answer. We need to find the assailants. Exactly. The people who committed this crime. Collectively, everybody worked together.
Yeah.
I moved. I think when I moved here, just 2 months or something, and another Black guy died here, and it was, I would say, what word I would like is beautiful. No, I mean the word I saw a lot of community coming together.
Yes.
To
give this person love. And the best farewell that should be done.
Yeah, could be done. I was like,
I stand for that.
Just hit home.
I'm behind that. I think going forward, if that's the way we are, that's beautiful.
Then we should be, yes.
Because you're creating.
It's been so long where you see color on color. The division it's been too long.
It's time to unite.
I think it's about time that people realize that if we become one,
I'm really big on
mountains.
We're building each other up economically. We're getting out of lower socioeconomic to middle class to upper class. You're seeing more and more people living a wealthier, affluent life, like back home where we come from in the on the continent of Africa.
Yes.
And it's happening here, and it's due to our efforts. So again, collectively, you can be one drop in the ocean, but collectively we are the ocean. You can't beat that. So that creates generational wealth. In other words, the next generations are living a better life because their parents lived a good life. So we are catching up with the others.
Yeah.
The generational wealth in North America.
We move up into like even that economic status. If you guess what, our kids get to go to better schools.
And they become their own entrepreneurs. They become... Hello. So, it's only onwards and upwards from there.
Yeah.
Hello.
We're moving together.
Yeah, it's great. One thing I would advise maybe the community leaders is mostly education. I mean, all these, they have to put it out there and teach all these young kids coming up. I mean, maybe a seminar.
Maybe like a seminar, like a career fair, things like that.
Yeah,
community. Yeah, we should be hosting all that in our communities.
Yeah, so,
I think it starts from the home. It starts from parents teaching their children fiscal awareness. Start with, we give you pocket money. How does that double? How do you reinvest that in something by the time you're 18 or whatever? So that's just fiscal intelligence. It should be taught, and that's across the board for anybody. Many people come out of high school and have no idea what an investment is, no idea what RSPs are, TFSAs are, etc.
Young. Some of the parents also did not have that information. And,
hence, if we are...
Do you think that should be part of the school curriculum?
100%.
You think so, eh?
As a teacher, 100%. There should be one class minimum in high school about fiscal responsibility. how to use money and double it, how to invest it to gain interest and use that interest to reinvest in something else. That's a basic stuff. I don't need to learn how to sew. Here in Canada, home ec is teaching how to sew and to cook. I'd rather my child learn about intelligence.
Like money. I mean, money rules the world.
I'm sorry. You want to cook? Okay, if they have the money, they can order all the meals they want. They'll learn how to cook if they need to. If you're down there, go skip the dishes. There's this. People just order and it's right by the door. Tell me about it. So
and it's money that is moving that.
I am feeling that sewing. I'm sorry. I did home ec and I had to sew. I did not fancy that.
I saw no funny.
Zero importance.
In high school, I
had to sew a pencil case.
They can be a fashion
designers. I took fashion in high school. Yeah. So like some basic dresses, I can sew them myself. I still have sewing. I still have sewing machine at home.
Yeah, so it's a good guys. All right, I think our conversation ends here. We had a good time and talk about all these coming together. And our guest Izzy was so special.
It was a pleasure.
We're so happy to have her here. I think some of the inputs were very strong, and we really appreciate you coming tonight. And I hope we were able to put some ideas and options and other things that people can actually do in terms of being a part of a community. And also don't stay back. Look for a community. Be a part of a community, because guess what? That's where all the connection and the what do we call it? Networking and everything is going on. So be a part of a community. It doesn't matter if you're from Mexico, you're from Ghana, you're from Uganda, you're from Liberia. Look for a community and be part of it. And so there is some good stuff. Okay. So we're just gonna end up here, and we're just gonna remind you guys to love this, watch this video, share and subscribe, and make sure you share with your friends and your family as well. Okay, have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.